Hello there and welcome to the halftime review or the half season review, whichever way you want to look at it. Some people call it a snazzy name and all that sort of business, but we're halfway through the season. Officially we are, because we've still got a game in hand and find ourselves 13 points at the top of the table. But I wanted to wait until we were on 19 games officially to do a half season review, because we were going to get a very tough game against Wolves, which it was, and it ended up being. But I'm going to go run through all of our fixtures that we've had, including some of the Champions League ones as well. But I wanted to wait until then, because then it's officially halfway through the season. You can take a pretty good idea of where we're at, how we're doing, and what can we expect for the second half of the season. And I'm not going to analyse all of the results. I'm basically just going to run through the results that we've had so we can sort of refresh what we've done, how we've done, and how we've done it as well. I mean, the only games that we've taken losses in this year, just going to sort out the old colour on my face there we go. The only ones that we've had is, we've had defeats in the Champions League, and we've had the Carabao Cup as well. Alright, we technically started the season with a loss on penalties in the Community Shield, but we're going to get right into the Premier League as well. Before I get going, let me know what your thoughts are at Liverpool at the halfway stage now. Do we have it in us to go the rest of the season and take the Premier League title? Do we have it in us to do that? Let me know in the comments below. It might sound like a stupid question to some, but there have been monumental leads in the Premier League before that have been, caught up, overtaken, whichever. I think 3 of those have been down to us being caught up and overtaken. It is what it is, isn't it? It just is what it is. From what I remember, I think 2009 with Benitez, 13-14 Brendan Rodgers, obviously last season as well, we had a commanding lead. Yeah, we know better than anyone that it's not done yet. It's just not done yet. So I'm keeping a very calm perspective, calm state of mind. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Can we go ahead and do it? Now, kicked off the season in August, 9th of August, really, really early, I feel. I feel it's earlier and earlier every year. I think eventually one day, the Premier League is just going to go on a cycle. You end, you start, you end, you start, you end, you start. That's how I think it's going to go one day. Liverpool were at home. We beat Norwich 4-1. Norwich played really well that game. I remember that one. That was very, very good. But it was a good start for us as well, ahead of the Super Cup against Chelsea, which was a really difficult game. Chelsea played out of their skins in that game, and it ended 2-2. We ended up winning the UEFA Super Cup on penalties. Very, very good. That was Adrian's first appearance as well. We lost Alisson to injury in the Norwich game as well. Southampton versus Liverpool, that was 2-1. Adrian gifting Southampton a goal. Oh my God. Yeah, that was a worrying time, that one. And it was also the start of the sort of, are we playing well? Are we not? Then we move on to Liverpool versus Arsenal, which was 3-1 in what was a very good game by us. It really was. Pepe has done the most notable thing in his Arsenal career so far, in the fact that he dribbled past Virgil van Dijk and thus was created the dribbled past, stat. He invented that. That's the one contribution he's done to Arsenal so far, apart from the Europa League. But we went out of that one with a 3-1 victory. We then beat Burnley 3-0 comprehensively. Then we beat Newcastle 3-1. I remember Jetro Willems opened the scoring in this one. He did Trent on the left-hand side and just fired it in, and it was a very good goal, but we came back and won that one 3-1. Champions League, first game of the Champions League we lost. Is that right? Wow, see, the things that you forget when it's all said and done and you've gone through to the next round. 2-0, Napoli beat us, and that was that brought us back down to earth ahead of Chelsea in the Premier League, which we then went on and won 2-1. We then beat MK Dons with a youth team, which was a very good performance by the youth team as well. We beat them 2-0. Fortunate to then go on and beat Sheffield in the Premier League. Gini Wijnaldum with what doesn't look like the most powerful of shots. It really wasn't. And just sort of like trickled towards the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper somehow has let it palm just sort of into his goal. We were lucky in that game They are actually our next game in the new year, I think. Sheffield versus... I think we're at home that one, though, because we played them away. So we're at Anfield again, but we play Sheffield, so it's another tough game for us coming up. Back in the Champions League, Liverpool 4-3 against Red Bull Salzburg in... What a game that was. Like, that was unbelievable. I think we were we 3-1 or something like that going into half-time? Something like that anyway. They come out, they score 2 goals pretty, comprehensively as well, where we got first sight of Minamino as well, our new signing to come in January. Mohamed Salah, I think, caps it off for 4-3, and we ended up winning that game, but it's not looking comfortable. Not looking like we could buy a clean sheet if we wanted to. Like, genuinely. Just doesn't look like... And it's going to be a common theme throughout the next set of fixtures as well. Liverpool versus Leicester. Last-minute penalty by James Milner takes us over the line. Like, again, and I think at this point we're still missing Alisson. I think we still had Adrian in goal, who has done okay, he's done well, but he's not Alisson. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. But Milner slots it away in the 95th minute or something like that. And then we move on to Man United, the only team in the Premier League right now, which is their trophy right now, is this. Manchester United are the only team that have taken points off Liverpool this season. They are the reason that we aren't 57 points out of 57. That is a fact. We're 55 out of 57. Oh no. But yeah, Manchester United actually do what they did against bigger teams. They came out and they played against a bigger team and they played well. That was it really. They stifled us very, very much. Lallana getting the goal to equalise when we put the pressure on. But yeah, it was a hard game, and it's one of those, when you come up against United, recently anyway, we've struggled. Since Mourinho got sacked anyway. But yeah, like I hope that when we bring that game back to Anfield, I hope that we can win. I really do. Back in the Champions League, 4-1 against Genk. Should have been 4-0. Couldn't keep a clean sheet in that game either. 2-1 against Tottenham, and I want to click into this one actually and see it was a Mo Salah penalty. Harry Kane scored in the first minute. That was such a horrible game. He scored in the first minute, man. Horrible, really horrible. And it took us a long time to get back into that game, but Jordan Henderson and Mo Salah put us back into that one in a winning position. Then we went on to the Carabao Cup, Liverpool versus Arsenal, 5-5, and we win it on penalties. And Arsenal fans were fuming about that game. They were so angry because they couldn't name most of our team. And yet they had some recognised starting 11 players in theirs as well, and they just couldn't do it. They couldn't get it over the line. A competition we were trying not to win. Come on. And we still managed to win it. We managed to win that game anyway. Then it was Aston Villa versus Liverpool. A tough game again. These guys coming up from the Championship do not make it easy. Trezeguet had scored for Aston Villa, and then Andy Robertson, Sadio Mane with last-minute madness. Unreal. And that is just, if anything I can epitomise what it is like for Liverpool this season, never stop, never give up, never stop going forward. And that is exactly what we did. 2-1 at home against Genk in the Champions League. A much tighter affair. Than it was the previous game, but hey, we did the business, that's all we needed to do. And then it was 3-1, probably our biggest result of the season at that moment, 3-1 against Manchester City. Magnificent performance from front to back. Unreal. Jordan Henderson was magnificent. Fabinho, unreal. The defence was very, very good as well. And we noticed how good Henderson actually was in that game when we took him off. And that's when they started to get more control in the game, and they scored their goal through Bernardo Silva. But very comprehensive 3-1 victory. We then go to Crystal Palace and we win 2-1. This is where 2-1 FC started to become a very real thing. And it's not over either, because that was a very tight game as well. Trying to remember who scored. Sadio Mane, Wilfried Zaha scored one. It was a nice ball across the box. Or he took the ball across the box and it was a nice low drive. Then Bobby Firmino comes back a couple of minutes later and scores and puts us 2-1. Scenes, limbs everywhere, because everyone at this point is waiting. They've got their saved tweets and their drafts. They've got them saved right there for whenever Liverpool lose a game in the Premier League. They've got them there, and they're gutted every single time it doesn't happen, because they have to then go and just leave it in the drafts or delete it. It's just what happens, isn't it, at the moment. Champions League, crunch time. Looks like it's crunch time, but 1-1. against Napoli. Again, it was very, very tight and looked like we were staring the prospect of going into the Europa League. That was a very real prospect unless we got a positive, very positive result against Salzburg, who were a difficult team to play against, and we were playing away in that next game. So we had to wait to see if we were going to get out of the groups in the Champions League. Never mind top or come second, just to get out. Liverpool versus Brighton. Alisson got sent off for handling the ball outside of the area. Ended up finishing 2-1 to Liverpool. It should have been 2-0. The free kick that they had shouldn't have been allowed. But anyway, we went on. We were going into the Merseyside derby. We ended up winning 5-2 in a monstrous performance by Liverpool. And a monstrous performance, if I remember correctly, it was Divock Origi. Divock Origi was fantastic in that game, but the entire team was as well. Shaqiri came into that game as well, and that was fantastic. Go on to Bournemouth, who I've always respected as a footballing team. We win 3-0. Not too much to be said about it. We went out there, did our business, won 3-0. We move on to the big game in the Champions League, which was 2-0 against Salzburg. And awesome performance. Like, I just cannot believe the performance that we had in that game. It was very, very good. And the two goals, again, Naby Keita and Mohamed Salah, we all know that goal. Mohamed Salah, fantastic goal. But two goals within 120 seconds or 100 seconds, and that takes us through top of the Champions League group, makes us go into the next round as well. 2-0 follows against Watford in what was, I think, Nigel Pearson's first game as the new manager of Watford, and they put in a very good performance. If they were more clinical, they could have actually notched a win against us, or they could have at least got a draw. They could have took points off us, but they weren't. We go out there 2-0. Then we move on to the fixture calamity of the Carabao Cup and the Club World Cup. Obviously, Aston Villa beat our youth team 5-0 comprehensively, but you had 16, 17, 18-year-olds out for us. I was proud of our team that day. I really was. And then, literally within 24 hours, we go and beat Monterrey 2-1. On the Saturday, we go into the Club World Cup final against Flamengo, and a lot of questionable decisions in the refereeing side of the game, but we walk out of there with a Bobby Firmino goal and a 1-0 victory, and we brought the Club World Cup home. And you saw the badge that we wore against Wolves. Looks magnificent. I wish the Premier League would let us wear it all season. We deserve it. It makes the league look good. You've got the Club World Cup winners in your league. Represent. That's all I'm saying. Then we come out of that game, everyone's thinking, even myself, we're thinking, we're going to be fatigued. If we get a positive result out of the Leicester game, that's a good thing. If I would have took a draw out of that game. We go out there and smash it 4-0. Absolutely magnificent performance by Liverpool. Really up and down the pitch. I think we actually limited Leicester to no shots on target the entire game. And I think that is true. I just want to go back and look at the stats. No shots on target whatsoever. Liverpool didn't have to make any saves, with the statistic there as well. And we got 4 brilliant goals. Bobby Firmino, James Milner, Bobby Firmino again, and the performance of Trent Alexander-Arnold that game was absolutely magnificent. And then yesterday, Liverpool won, Wolves 0. Big, that, if anything, if I could say anything with my hands like this, that's a big balls performance, was yesterday. And I don't say stuff like that often, but that really warranted it. Dangerous opposition who left some of their starting players who beat Man City on the bench to then make an impact later on in the game, like Adama Traore coming on in the 60th odd minute or something like that. He's got half an hour to get his legs going and make an impact, and a very difficult player like him could have caused us problems, did cause us problems. VAR stood out that day, but that is where we see ourselves right now. Let's have a look at the table. 19 games played, 18 wins, 1 draw in the Premier League. We topped our Champions League group. We won the Club World Cup. We're in the FA Cup as well. We face Everton in the FA Cup, and Minamino will be coming in January. We got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. I don't feel that was in our hands. That was down to the governing bodies of the FA and all this lot. That was down to them. But it goes without saying, this, for me, as a 32-year-old man, this is hands down the best Liverpool team overall, I've seen us have. We've had magnificent players. We've had standout players that could certainly contribute to this team, no doubt. But the teams that they were in always had a deficiency. There was always a deficiency in that team somewhere. In this current team, this current squad that Liverpool have, I'm hard pushed to say this person's a weakness over here, defence is weak over here, midfield's weak, up front we're weak here, goalkeeper. I can't actually say that there's much of a weakness anywhere. People will point to our midfield, but when we get Fabinho back and Oxlade-Chamberlain comes back from injury as well, in the defence, when we get Joel Matip and Lovren back, they're going to enforce our defence and give us more options to rotate. Like, we've had barely any rotations in the fixture, all the fixtures we've had this month, and yet we're still undefeated in the Premier League. We win the Club World Cup. We topped our Champions League group into the next round against Atletico Madrid. We're into the FA Cup as well. Find me a better team in the Premier League era than this one. Try it. Anyone, whether you're a Liverpool fan or you're an opposition fan, whatever, there might be players you could take out that might contribute to this current team, but this current set of players is hands down the best I've ever seen us have. You know, and I truly mean that. Can we go on and win the Premier League? We can. It's a lot of hard work though. A lot of hard work though. It's December still. It's not January yet. And there's a lot of games to go. There's still 5 months of the league to go. 19 more games. 57 more points up for grabs. Like, I've said it before, I don't expect us to go invincible. I don't. I think it's a really hard ask to get a team to go invincible now. I really do. But we probably stand our best chance at winning the league this year. And an interesting fact that I saw as well, we got 97 points last year. No other team in the Premier League this season will be able to achieve 97 points now, for the amount that every other team around us has lost. The team with the least losses around us are Leicester City with 4 and Wolves with 4 losses. Everyone else has lost more. That's massive. And then you take draws into account and all that business, great, cool, whatever. But no one else can achieve 97 points this season apart from us. So it is down to us. We've got to carry our mentality forward, the support for the club forward as well, and the team to keep doing what they're doing, because they're doing unbelievable things. I love this team, I love this club, and I love this fan base. Most of it anyway. Twitter, probably not. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, I just wanted to sort of go through what we've done and then speak about how positive it has been for us. And it's undoubtedly positive for us right now. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about Liverpool going into 2020, and what are your predictions for 2020? In terms of FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League? Let me know it in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you are new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.